Sherri Papini's story is one of the most mysterious unsolved cases in California. The mother claims she was abducted, held captive, and then released. We are taking a fresh look at the case in DBL'S True Crime Chronicles.
Sherri Papini was described as a supermom by her husband, Keith. The couple was happily married, raising 2 kids. On November 2nd, 2016, Sherri went for a run in the small town of Mountain Gate in Shasta County, California. Later that day, she never picked up her kids from daycare. Her husband frantically called her, but no answer. So he tracked her phone and called 911.
I just drove down there and I saw her phone with her headphones because she started running again. And I found her phone and it's got like hair ripped out of it, like in the headphones. So I'm like totally freaking out, thinking like somebody just grabbed her.
Police issued a massive search and investigation.
As the details continue to surface and new tips come in,
Keith knew his wife would never abandon their kids and feared the worst.
Bring her home, bring her home. Just bring her home.
22 days later, a trucker spots Sherri on the side of a rural road, 150 miles away from home. She was bound at the waist by a chain, a hose clamp was fixed to her ankles, and she had been beaten, bruised, and branded on her shoulder. Surveillance video shows Sherri running frantically near an interstate just moments before she was found. Sherri claimed she had been abducted and held captive.
we do not know who the captors are. We do not know a motive at this time.
This is the sketch of the 2 Hispanic women Sherri claimed to have kidnapped her.
She is very relieved to be returned home safely and be reunited with her husband.
Home, safe, but yet so many questions unanswered. Why was she abducted? And how did she escape?
You never think you'd be in a position like this. I would never wish this feeling upon anybody.
And earlier, Eric and I spoke with an investigative reporter in California who's been working on this case. Take a look. We are joined by investigative reporter Ananda Rochita from ABC 10 in Sacramento, California. Thank you for joining us. Now, it's been almost 4 years now. How is Sherri doing today? What are the latest developments in the case?
Yeah, Sherri is barely seen out of her home, and her husband Keith has just talked to reporters just a few times since everything happened. I did reach out to the Shasta County Sheriff's Department and the FBI, who are investigating this case as well. And they said they have no more information to give out to the public, but that this is still an open investigation.
Ananda, investigators did find traces of DNA on Sherri's clothes. So will they ever retest that with new DNA technology similar to what was used to catch the Golden State Killer?
That is a possibility. So the DNA that was found on Sherri's body when she was found, they tested it through a system called CODIS. It's FBI's combined DNA index system. But it works with only a small pool of people because it's relatively new. It was created in the 1990s. And if you're not in the system already for a crime, then it wouldn't be able to match that DNA to people in the system. So genetic genealogy has really been a game changer for a lot of agencies. And there is a possibility that they may have be testing this but not making it public. It's something that a lot of agencies are doing right now, and we're hearing about it once they make that arrest. So the big case, like you mentioned, was the Golden State Killer case.
What's crazy to me is all the controversy surrounding this case. Some people say that Sherri fabricated the kidnapping because she reappeared on the road one day. How have police responded to that theory? Is there any credence to it?
So they have responded to some of the theories. One of them is whether Sherri left willingly or she was kidnapped. So just a few days before she disappeared, she was talking to a man from Michigan and texting him. The Sheriff's Department did follow up on that lead, and they say that he was not involved in her disappearance whatsoever, and that even her husband is not considered a suspect in this case too. There was also some speculation on whether she could have been targeted for human trafficking. There was also possibility of this being involvement of a cult. So when she was found, she was bruised, battered, her hair was cut very short, and she was also branded. And the Sheriff's Department only said branded, but they wouldn't specify what kind of branding was found on her. They said that that is confidential, but they are following up on that lead.
Wow.
But as for now, the Sheriff's Department wouldn't comment on the human trafficking or whether this was a cult, but they are still saying that this is an open investigation, and there is a $10,000 reward leading up to information that would ID those 2 suspects.
Heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. I just pray that justice is brought. Thank you so much, Ananda, for bringing this case to light. Very important. And for the latest on this case, DBL Nation, visit abc10.com. You can also listen to the new podcast episode, Sherri Papini Kidnapping. Just search True Crime Chronicles on your favorite podcast player. Thank you, Ananda.